Of the war. Yupunabekon creates another South Asian record.
On to the stories in detail now, starting off with local news. A decision has been taken today to present the 21st Amendment to the Constitution to the Cabinet of Ministers. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe says it will be presented to party leaders next Friday.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe said that the committee appointed for the revision of the 21st Amendment of the Constitution has met today. It has been decided to present the draft prepared by Minister Vijayadasa Rajapaksa to the Cabinet of Ministers. After discussions, the Prime Minister further said that he has been informed to receive the responses of the party leaders on the revision. He has also said they are hoping to publish the amendment in the Gazette and give the opportunities to the desired group to challenge the amendment in the Supreme Court. It will be approved with the cooperation of all parties concerned.
අපිට දැනුම් දුන්නා. මේ අනුව විජේදාස රාජපක්ෂ ඇමතිතුමා මේ
Now on to another leading story. Minister Kanchana Wijesekara requests the general public not to purchase fuel from another parties other than filling stations. The minister in a Twitter message says the investigations have revealed that certain groups purchase fuel and mix them with other substances. He adds that the aim of these illicit groups is to resell them at higher prices. The Association of Petroleum Distributors has expressed problems faced by them at a media briefing today. Vice President of the Petroleum Distributors Association, Kusum Sandanayaka, said that some groups who were in queue 2 hours ago appear once again in the queue, obstructing the genuine customers to purchase supplies. It appears that these groups acting in violent manner are not residents in the area. They're being managed by unseen group.
මේ තෙල් අරගෙන ආපුවාම තෙල් ටික ගිනි තියාවි කියන යම්කිසි මතයක් තමන්ගේ ප්‍රදේශයේ තියෙන පිරවුම් හල තමන්ගේ පිරවුම් හලක් ඇටියට සලකලා ඒ අයට ආරක්ෂාව ලබා දෙන්න. අපි සැක කරනවා මේ කටයුත්ත මෙහෙවන එහෙම නැත්නම් එක්තරා සංවිධානයක් එහෙම නැත්නම් යම්කිසි කණ්ඩායමක් ඉන්නවාදෝ කියලා. මොකද අපිට ලැබෙන පැමිණිලි වලින් පේනවා මේ ප්‍රදේශයේ ඉන්න අය නෙවෙයි මේ කටයුත්ත කරන්නේ. ඊට වැඩිය බොහොම ඈතින් පැමිණි එහෙම නැත්නම් හඳුනාගත නොහැකි කණ්ඩායමක් තමයි මේවට මූලික කටයුතු කරන්නේ. ඉතින් ඒක යම්කිසි සංවිධානයක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් ඒක යම්කිසි බලාපොරොත්තුවක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් රටේ තියෙන ප්‍රශ්න වැඩි කිරීමේ චේතනාව අපි තව ටික දවසක් බලනවා මේක කරන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා. බැරි වුණොත් අපි කරන්නේ අපිට මේ ව්‍යාපාරයෙන් අයින් වෙන්න වෙනවා. මොකද ඕන කෙනෙක් දන්නවා අපි කවුරුත් කැමති නැහැ අපි හම්බ කරගත්ත දේපල ගිනි තියාගෙන මිනිසුන්ගේ බැනුම් අහගෙන මේ කටයුත්ත කරන්න.
The minister also says that the octane 95 type of petrol is being distributed throughout the country from today. This type of fuel is presently being unloaded from 2 ships at the port. These stocks are sufficient for 6 weeks. Therefore, the minister calls upon masses to obtain octane 95 petrol without any obstruction from tomorrow. Another Twitter message of the minister says there will not be any cutbacks of electricity at major hospitals where there are surgeries. Priority has also been given in provision of fuel for ambulances and power generators in hospitals. A ship carrying 40,000 metric tons of petrol provided by the Government of India has reached the Colombo harbour today. Minister Kanchana Wijesekara thanked the Indian government, quoting on a Twitter message released in this connection by the Office of the Indian High Commissioner. Long queues to purchase fuel were seen in many parts of the island today as well. A heated situation has also been created at the filling station in Kumbuka in Murugaina. This station also gives prominence to parents of students sitting for the GC O-level examination and also to officials engaged in exam duties. Large crowds have been flocking at the Slave Island filling station since dawn today to purchase fuel. Filling station employees request the general public not to obstruct in the fuel distribution program. Large number of fishermen have been subjected to great difficulties for not having fuel for their multi-day fishing craft. I'm bringing you that message again. Large number of fishermen have been subjected to great difficulties for not having fuel for their multi-day fishing craft. The gas distribution program is being carried out continuously. Large groups of people have arrived at the Pulvata grounds in Ambalangoda to receive fuel even at night. Several shops in the Navalapitiya town have received gas after many days, yet arguments have arisen for not providing adequate quantities of gas. The army and the police were called to settle the disputes. Steps have been taken to entrust upon the supervision of the district secretary in the Mathura district of the litro gas distribution in the district from tomorrow. The decision has been taken following complaints lodged by the general public. A meeting in this regard has taken place between Litro Gas Company and the Mathura district distributing agents at the district secretariat today. The Norachole station, which has remained inactive, was restored to normalcy by this evening. It adds 270 megawatts of power to the national grid. The Public Utilities Commission says that the power discontinuation timetable has been revised in order to prevent the occurrence of any obstructions to the GC O-level examinations. The 2021 GC Ordinary Level Examination has commenced today.
517,496 candidates are sitting for the exam. The examination is being conducted at 3,844 centres. The Department of Examinations says there are 407,129 school candidates and 110,367 private candidates. 542 coordinating centres have been set up throughout the island. The examination is scheduled to conclude on the 1st of next month. Commissioner General of Examinations LMD Dharmasena has said that according to the information received, 90 to 95% of the candidates have sat for the exam today. So far, no act of irregularity has been reported. This year's examination has been organized amidst many difficulties. Prominence has been given to exam candidates and officials engaged in exam duties in the provision of fuel. The Commissioner General of Examination calls upon all candidates to arrive at the examination centre as early as possible. Some groups have provided free transport services to candidates sitting for the examination in the Anuradhapura district. Minister of Education Dr. Susil Premajanth says all necessary measures have been taken to successfully conduct this year's GCE Ordinary Level examination. The minister further says that the police and the three armed forces, the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation, the Ceylon Transport Board, the Private Bus Operators Association and the Department of Railways have extended their resources to conduct the examination. The minister at a discussion extended his gratitude to all parties involved in the process.
8 more new cabinet ministers of all-party government were sworn in front of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa today. Douglas Devananda has taken notes as the Minister of Fisheries. Bandula Gunawardana was sworn in as the Minister of Transport, Highways and Mass Media. The new Minister of Water Supply is Kelia Rambukwala. The portfolio of the Ministry of Industries has been conferred upon Dr. Ramesh Patirana. Both Kelia Rambukwala and Ramesh Patirana have been entrusted with new portfolios in addition to the ministerial portfolios in which they were sworn in last Friday. Mahinda Amaravira also took oath as the Minister of Agriculture, Wildlife and Wildlife Conservation before President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Vidura Vikramanayaka was sworn in as the Minister of Buddha Sasana, Religious and Cultural Affairs. Ahmad Nazir is the new Minister of Environment. Roshan Ranasinghe took oaths as the Minister of Irrigation, Sports and Youth Affairs before the President.
Several new cabinet ministers of the all-party government have commenced duties today. Dr. Bandula Gunawardana, who was sworn in as the Minister of Mass Media, Transport and Highways, has commenced duties at the Ministry of Mass Media today. A group including Secretary to the Ministry was present on the occasion. Minister Harin Fernando has also commenced duties at the Ministry of Lands today. Douglas Devananda, who took oath as the Minister of Fisheries, also commenced duties at his ministry today. Secretary of the ministry and other officials also attended the event.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe says a new budget with drastically reduced capital expenditure will be presented. He has made these remarks at a discussion conducted with the representatives of the Chambers of Commerce, Treasury representatives and economic advisors today. The objective of the meeting was to discuss on economic planning on the forthcoming budget. The Prime Minister has made a clarification on the food shortage faced by the country as a result of the Ukraine war and the erroneous management in the local market. He has further pointed out that not only Sri Lanka but the global market would be affected by the food shortage. The government is engaged in strenuous efforts to minimize the repercussions. Recommendations have been forwarded to the Prime Minister regarding digitalization of the process, providing relief to the masses. The Prime Minister has agreed with the recommendations pertaining to the introduction of the new criteria on the eligibility to receive welfare benefits. He added that, in addition, a policy framework related to the economic rights should be included in the Constitution. A discussion on food security in the face of the world food shortage was held at the Prime Minister's office today. The Prime Minister said on this occasion that a cultivation war planned on scientific basis should be commenced. An in-depth discussion on food crops, livestock resources and export crops, as well as disputes pertaining to fertilizer, seeds and fuel has also taken place on this occasion. The Prime Minister has instructed the relevant sections of the short and long-term policies to be taken in this regard. Sri Lanka's monthly rice requirement is 200,000 metric tons. It has been disclosed at the discussion that Sri Lanka's present rice stocks are sufficient only up to the middle of September. It has also been pointed out that the harvest of the next paddy cultivation could be reaped only in February next year. Special attention has been focused on food supply in urban areas. A committee headed by the Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva has been appointed in this respect. A committee has also been appointed on Grow More food programs in the western and southern provinces as well.
The Samagya Rupavahini has accused the government for wasting time by appointing ministers from time to time at a moment when it should gear itself for a national plan.
National organizer SJB Thisathanayaka has presented the charges at a media briefing in Colombo today. National organizer of the Samagya Rupavahini, Thisathanayaka, said that according to the information they have received, the number of ministers is to be increased to 25. He added that the government is engaged in this erroneous practice at a time when what is needed is to reduce wasteful expenditure. This is not a new government. Only the Prime Minister was changed. The present cabinet is comprised by a majority of unsuccessful ministers of the previous government. The appointment of new ministers does not bring any benefits or progress to the people who are undergoing extreme difficulties.
Parliamentarian Vimalavira Dissanayake says that Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna will never hesitate to hand over the leadership of the country to a group of people who are able to develop it. Addressing a media briefing in Colombo today, Parliamentarian Vimalavira Dissanayake said that we must realize our mistake in order to resolve the problems. He has acknowledged that the chaotic situation has risen in the country. Problems remain to be resolved in fuel, gas and fertilizer distribution. The parliamentarian further said that conducting agitation in an unruly manner in the streets would not bring dollars to the country. He further said that he is now a man without a house as his residence was destroyed. He further said that even of the houses of his son was also demolished. It was built with a bank loan. Parliamentarian Dissanayake further said that he was given the punishment even though he is an innocent person who has never engaged in frauds.
Leader of the 43rd Brigade, Parliamentarian Patali Champika Ranawaka, has declared the stance of brigade today regarding extending cooperation to resolve the present economic and political crisis. Leader of the 43rd Brigade Parliamentarian Party Champika Ranawaka said that the Policy Council will have to be set up. All parliamentarians must join in the process of drafting a constitution. The powers of the Executive Council should be strengthened. He added that the independent and professional persons should be appointed as secretaries to the ministries. The 21st Amendment should be tabled in Parliament in the first week of next month. Drafting of the constitution should be carried out with the approval of the Cabinet. The Attorney General and the legal draftsman and the ability of foreign citizens to assume positions in the country should be fully abolished, and all party governments should bear the responsibilities and challenges. Minister of Labour and Foreign Employment Manusha Nanakara requests overseas migrant workers to become partners in the process of ending queues in the country by contributing $500 million.
He has made this request at a media briefing at the Ministry of Labour today. Minister of Labour and Foreign Employment Manusha Nanakara said that he extends an invitation to Sri Lankan nationals abroad to help in the task of sending $500 million to the country. He further said that he could say with responsibility that the money would be used solely for the fulfillment of the needs of the people. Those who are able to send $100,000 within a year should be even given permission to import a vehicle. The minister added that he would propose some tax relief to the contributors. Those who remit funds to Sri Lanka could also be given housing loans in proportion to the money sent. He said that proposals could be made to give marks to the children of the contributors to enter higher educational institutions if they send $50,000. Prominence would also be given to migrant workers to purchase land in Sri Lanka. Another proposal is to introduce a special card for migrant employees. Such a card would enable them to receive many benefits from institutions in Sri Lanka. The minister has also recalled that the heroic migrant workers had arrived in the island in the 2019, raising the national flag with the aim of protecting the country. The minister added the same protection is expected of these workers today as well.
The new secretary to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Aruni Vijayawardena, assumed duties at the Foreign Ministry today. After a simple ceremony following the assumption of duties, Foreign Secretary Vijayawardena addressed the staff officers of the ministry. She was appointed as the secretary on the May 20th. A member of the Sri Lanka Foreign Service, Foreign Secretary Vijayawardena counts 34 years in the Foreign Service. She has held many positions in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Colombo, at the Sri Lanka missions overseas and in international organizations. Her service overseas includes the Sri Lanka Permanent Mission to the UN in Geneva, Sri Lanka High Commission in Malaysia and the Sri Lanka Embassy in the Philippines. She also served as the ambassador of Sri Lanka to Austria and the permanent representative to UN organizations in Vienna. On the secondment from the Foreign Ministry, Aruni Vijayawardena also served as the director of the Secretariat of the policy-making organs of the International Atomic Energy Agency in Vienna.
The golf face protest in front of the Presidential Secretariat is being conducted for the 45th day today. Large groups of protesters were seen at the site last night as well. Special features including cinemas and musical programs were conducted. However, no agitators other than those who were uttering protesting slogans were seen at the location this morning. The protest in front of the temple trees is being conducted for the 11th day today. The protesters were engaged in social hospitality programs of cleaning the Kollupitia railway station premises this morning.
Police media spokesman and senior SP Attorney-at-Law Nihal Thalduwa said at a media briefing in Colombo yesterday that around 1,500 suspects have been arrested in connection with the violent disturbances that had taken place island-wide in the 9th of this month. Police media spokesman Nihal Thalduwa said that only 101 suspects have been released on bail. 672 suspects have been placed under detention. Some of the suspects have been arrested in connection with the violent acts in Galface killing of the Amarakirti Atukorala and his security officer in Itambua, assaulting of a DIG and an SP at Panchagawa at the roundabout and damaging their vehicles as well. 16 suspects were arrested in yesterday's connection with the Galface incident. He added that the court has ordered to place them under detention till the 25th of this month.
ප්‍රදේශයේදී සිදු අමරකීර්ති අතුකොරාල මහතාගේ සහ ඔහුගේ ආරක්ෂකයා වූ පොලිස් සරයන් ගුණවර්ධන නිලධාරියාගේ ඝාතනය සම්බන්ධව පංචිකාවත්ත වටරවුම් ප්‍රදේශයේදී නියෝජ්‍ය පොලිස්පතිවරයෙකුට සහ පොලිස් අධිකාරිවරයෙකුට පහර දෙනු ලැබුවා. ඒ වගේම ඔවුන් ගමන් කළ නිල රථවලට පහර දීලා ඒවායේ අමතර කොටස් ගලවාගෙන ඉන්පසු එම වාහනවලට ගිනි තබා තිබුණා. මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් වූ විමර්ශනයත් අපරාධ පක්ෂ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවට බාර දුන්නා. එම විමර්ශනයට අදාළව ඊයේ දිනේදී එක් සැකකරුවෙකු අපරාධ පක්ෂ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවෙන් අත්අඩංගුවට ගත්තා. ගාලු මෝදර ඇති වූ සිද්ධියට අදාළව මේ වන විට සැකකරුවන් 16 දෙනෙකු අත්අඩංගුවට ගෙන තිබෙනවා. ඔවුන් සියලු දෙනාම මැයි මාස 25 වන දින දක්වා ආරක්ෂිත බන්ධනාගාරගත කිරීමට ගරු අධිකරණය මගින් නියම කරනු ලැබුවා. ඒ වගේම ඉන්ටර්බේ සිදුවීම සම්බන්ධ සැකකරුවන් 8 දෙනෙකු අත්අඩංගුවට ගෙන තිබෙනවා. ඔවුනොත් මේ වන විට ආරක්ෂිත බන්ධනාගාරගත කර තිබෙනවා.
The CID commenced an inquiry into the setting fire to an office of a parliamentarian in Divlapitia on the 9th. The police seeks public assistance to arrest a female who was alleged to have taken the initiative in this act. Any information pertaining to the suspect could be provided through telephone numbers 0718 594 949 or 0714 196 609. You're watching the news on Rupavahini. Stay with us. We'll be back with international stories soon after this break.
To reach the top of the world, I'll have wings to fly.
Higher interest with more gifts and benefits. Sisu Dana from People's Bank. Give your child the strength to succeed.
Now on to foreign news. We are focusing on Ukraine crisis. President Volodymyr Zelensky calls for a maximum sanctions against Russia, including an oil embargo. During an address to the World Economic Forum in Davos, the Ukrainian president said up to 100 of his troops are dying every day in battle in eastern Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky used the Davos summit to appeal for more weapons for his country and maximum sanctions against Moscow. Addressing the gathering of the world's political and business elites, Zelensky called for an oil embargo in Russia, punitive measures against all its banks and the shunning of its sector, adding that all foreign companies should leave the country. Meanwhile, US President Joe Biden, during his tour in Japan, has said that Russia has to pay a long-term price for the offensive in Ukraine in terms of sanctions imposed by Moscow, by the United States and all its allies. Russian forces in the eastern Ukraine are intensifying attacks on key city as they seek to seize the Donbas region. Zhenezhevsky, the largest city in the under Ukrainian call in the Luhansk province, has come under intense artillery and missile fire from Moscow forces. Russian troops were repelled after trying to enter the city from 4 directions. Russia had occupied the towns and cities in Luhansk after 24-hour shelling. Meanwhile, Kremlin has said the West triggered a global food crisis by imposing severe sanctions in the modest history in Russia.
The world is facing formidable challenges, including COVID, the war in Ukraine and monkeypox. The head of the World Health Organization has warned. More than 80 cases have been confirmed in Europe, the US, Canada, Australia and Israel. Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus made these remarks in Geneva, where the UN Health Agency's experts were discussing the monkeypox outbreak in 15 nations outside Africa. However, the risk to the wider public is said to be low. Monkeypox, the virus that is most common in remote parts of the Central and West Africa, does not tend to spread easily between people, and the illness is usually mild. Most people who catch the virus recover within a week, according to the UK's National Health Service. The outbreak has taken scientists by surprise, and the UK health officials have issued new advice saying high-risk contacts of cases should self-isolate for 3 weeks.
Parts of Spain are experiencing their hottest May ever with temperatures of more than 40 degrees Celsius in some places. The agency issued heat warnings in 10 regions recently, saying that it could be one of the most intense heat waves in years. The city of Jaén in the south Spain has recorded its highest ever May temperatures of 40 degrees Celsius on last Friday. Climate changes is making the heat wave more frequent and more intense. Spain's unreasonably warm spring weather is a result of hot air coming from the North Africa, causing temperatures to rise up by 15 degrees Celsius above the average for this time of year. The worst hit regions are Andalusia in the south and Extremadura in the southwest, Madrid and Castilla-La Mancha in the center, and Aragon in the northeast. Spain's health ministry and urged residents to drink plenty of water and to stay in cool places as possible. Joe Biden says North Korea has not responded to a U.S. officer of COVID vaccines. As the country battles its first acknowledged outbreak, nearly 2.5 million people have been stricken by the fever in North Korea, and it's under a nationwide lockdown, according to the country's state media.
It is thought to be particularly vulnerable because it has little testing or vaccine supply. President Biden announced the offer at a press conference in South Korea. We've offered vaccines not only to North Korea but to China as well, and prepared to do that immediately, Biden said in a joint appearance with the South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol. We've got no response, he added. The isolated regime of North Korea has previously turned down offers of vaccines from COVAX, the global vaccine sharing scheme, and from South Korea, as well as reportedly declining other offers. Instead, it claimed to have successfully kept COVID out of the country by sealing its borders, although experts believe the virus has been present there for some time.
Now we are looking at sports news. We are focusing on the world of athletics. Good news to Sri Lanka. Short distance champion runner Yupunabekon has been successful in Sri Lankan South Asian records in men's 200 meters at an athletic event. Yupunabekon has completed the 200-meter event in 20.37 seconds. The previous Sri Lankan record holder in this event was Vinod Suranja, who finished in the event in 20.68 seconds. The South Asian record holder was Elaman Bryan in India, who completed the event in 20.52 seconds. Currently, Abekon is the holder of both Sri Lanka and South Asian records in the 100-meter event as well.
Yupunabekon Mudianselage.
And on to cricketing news. The second test of the current series between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh is in full swing at Sri Bangla's Cricket Stadium in Mayapur today. At the close of play, Bangladesh team scored 277 runs for the loss of 5 wickets.
The Bangladesh team, after winning the toss, has commenced the innings with opening batters Mahmud Hassan Joy and Tamim Iqbal. Joy was dismissed cheaply even prior to the team collecting runs. Sri Lankan pacemen were able to capture first 5 wickets of the Bangladesh team for a mere 25 runs. However, Mushfiq Rahim and Liton Das have been maintaining an unbroken partnership of 253 runs for the 6th wickets. Liton remains unbeaten with 135 runs, with his partner Rahim at 115 runs. This was the 3rd century of Das in his Test cricket career. Hassan Rajitha took 3 wickets and Asitha Fernando took 2 wickets for the Sri Lankan team.
That's it for tonight's English News telecast. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Me
Sambhashanaya. The sound of music.
நேத்ரா டிவி நேசத்தின் நெருக்கம்.
Over there in the distance, you can see the Thalaimannar jetty. Long ago, you could take a ship to India from this jetty. The distance between Thalaimannar and India is about 30 kilometers. Even now, we are moving towards India. In between Thalaimannar and South India, there is a group of sand isles connecting India and Sri Lanka. From the sky, these sand isles look like a bridge connecting two countries. It's called Adam's Bridge. There are 16 sand isles in Adam's Bridge. Out of them, 8 isles belong to our country. The Indian territory begins with the 9th isle. Human activities in this zone have endangered the lives of sea creatures. The isles are located in the Gulf of Mannar. It's a zone with an immensely rich biodiversity. This third isle is essentially a mating zone for seabirds. Every year,